So today we're doing a band that reached out to us that we didn't really know anything about. Like leading into the interview, like they hit us up, wanted to send us one of their albums.
Which they did.
And they did.
Graciously.
Actually, both sent us an album. So that was, or they sent us both an album. So that was pretty cool. And very high quality record, first and foremost. Like I think I mentioned that in the episode, but they did a fantastic job getting it pressed up.
Definitely awesome.
Leading into it, like we didn't know a whole lot just because there wasn't really a whole lot of information out there. And I don't know, sometimes I feel like it's better to go into it without knowing as much because it's fresh to us just as it's fresh to the listeners. So
there was a lot of good surprises in our conversation.
Yeah. Ironically, the members that we're interviewing are named Steve and Ryan, Steve is my partner at the record store, who you've probably heard us mention before, and obviously I'm Ryan, so I thought that was kind of funny. They're a band out of Venice, and I don't really know what genre to kind of lump them into, but
let's just say it alternative.
It's kind of like alternative, but like a mixture of like indie rock, a little bit of blues, a little bit of garage rock. Like they definitely bounce around in genres, even album to album, like not just on this record. Like when we went back and listened to other albums, they have, kind of like a synth pop record or like a heavier like pop punk or post punk type of record. But very cool guys, lots of fun to talk to. So it was great to get to know them, and they told us all about the band and where they recorded and all that good stuff, and we had a lot of fun with it, and definitely were taken by surprise on a few things. So
hope everybody enjoys.
We're going to play you a single off of well, actually it's not their single, I'm sorry. It's a song that I chose off the album. The latest album's called Of Floods, Droughts, and Other Ravages Visited Upon the Earth. You can find it everywhere you stream music, as far as I know.
Noise Avocation single.
Noise Avocation single. I like that. But if you check the episode description, you can find their Instagram there. Go give them a follow if you like the band. Stream it, check it out. Hit them up on Instagram if you're interested in buying a copy. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to hook you up. So if you're into it, support their music, and then, enjoy the interview. But the song that I chose was called Rattlesnake Highway Blues. And I chose it because I like the kind of left-lane cruiser, drive-by truckers element to it, where it's got like a dirty, gritty guitar tone followed by some like really cool harmonica backings. Yeah. And I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. But anyways, leading into that, here's Rattlesnake Highway Blues by the Happy Casualties. Steve and Ryan, thanks for jumping on the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So you guys are from the Happy Casualties, and what is your role in the band?
Well, I'm Steve. I'm the guitarist and singer and primary songwriter.
Okay.
And I'm Ryan, drums, percussion. I do a little backups, and I tinker around on synths, overdubs.
Right on. I did notice on the album, because you guys sent us the record, thank you for that, first off.
No, thank you.
All of you guys do vocals to some degree, like in the band.
Well, like
or what it says on the album, at least.
Yeah, for that one for sure, because like that's our 9th album, and so the vibe that we were kind of going for was I wanted to get my cousin Brian. He was with us on kind of this punk rock sort of album we did called Joyous Songs of Happiness and Friendship, another long title. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about having him come and work on some songs with us. And my buddy John, who lives here in Venice with us, do some songs too. And some of his songs, and I wanted it to kind of be like sort of like a white album kind of thing where everybody sort of like brings a few songs to the table and we all kind of like come up with instruments that are good for it and have it be really sort of like eclectic. And so like I played keys on some of the songs I never wrote. I never played keys before, and we all did different vocals for everybody's songs, and it came out to be sort of just a really kind of different album for us because of that. So yeah, everybody is singing on different songs on the album, and it is just like a really eclectic sort of mix with kind of a Americana theme, but it is like everybody's participating.
Yeah, it does seem to definitely go all over as far as the styles, and now that makes a lot of sense now that you've explained that.
Yeah, because there was definitely like a little bit of like garage rock, blues rock, indie rock. It's got some acoustic songs. It was a blend of a bunch of different things, really.
Yeah, tasty B3, tasty organs with the harp, the harmonic. It gives it that. The rambunctious, everyone gets a line to sing. But then going the antithesis, and also we're bringing in live string sections and the different time signatures and trying to do orchestral or, something different.
You guys just mentioned that it's your 9th album, so can we rewind? And like and go back to number 1 and before?
Yeah, like the first one, dude, it's funny because you said the thing about us having like long album titles, and like the first album is called Too Much Joy Turns Back the Fingernails. And we recorded it, I want to say in like 2005 or 2006. And it was with, we were kind of living at this place in Venice. Like Venice used to be kind of more of like an artist sort of friendly area. Like you used to.
Well, there was still like a pulse there. Like you could still at night have a red Solo cup, go to like 13 house parties, then go to like 11 in the morning. There's no grocery store. You're just like destitute. You're trapped out there. It's Venice, man.
But I lived in this house with like a bunch of like musicians, and I met Ryan, who's my drummer, and that's going back like 16, 17 years ago.
17, easy.
And we started playing together, and I had my buddy Ethan, who was my roommate, and he was playing bass, and we had some songs, but we started putting together some songs, and then we went to King Size Studios in Eagle Rock, and we recorded I think like 10 or 11 tracks there, and it was really cool. It was a really cool experience. Did the overdubs other places, like apartments and stuff. And then we kind of released it independently with some of those guys that were in that apartment building with me. They were kind of trying to do a label called Swill Pro Records because they're all like alcoholics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we released it on, quote, Swill Pro Records. And then that whole thing kind of fell apart. And I think I recorded the second album which was called Sons of the New West, sort of on my own with a guy out in Huntington Park named Philip Hout. And that album was really kind of stripped down, and I played to a click, and we overdubbed a lot of stuff to it. And then Ryan got back in the band somewhere around like the third or fourth album, and we've just kind of been working pretty consistently since then, and have like mixed up the genres a bit too. Like the album right before this was kind of like a synth wave, vaporwave kind of album with a drum machine and different stuff. So we mixed it up, and we like have like done lots of different genres.
Yeah, but that first album, we were lean and mean. We were playing like 4 times a week. We were playing out so much.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
It's very indie rock. It's like a very indie rock kind of album.
Yeah,
though.
Definitely. That's what Ryan pointed out right away.
Yeah, definitely indie.
Yeah, I actually.
That's like the main thing.
You surprised me by saying it was your 9th record, because I didn't know. I didn't go on streaming services and stuff and check, because you guys sent us the record, so I just played it from there. And then like I did a little bit of background, but I was kind of like, well, if I get all the answers beforehand, then what's the point in the podcast? So like, yeah, I like to learn.
Keep it fresh.
Yeah, like as we're going.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Joyous Songs of Happiness and Friendship, that's the synthy kind of one?
No. Bleed, Worship, Bleed is the synthy one.
Okay.
And Joyous Songs of Happiness and Friendship is like
punky?
the sort of punk one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But they kind of are like the covers, if you look at it online, the covers are sort of there to indicate the opposite. Like if you look at the Joyous Songs.
Yeah, it has
you're
like
oh,
bathtub or something, 2 kids hanging out.
It's a family
it's
photo.
me and my cousin, like when we were like 3 or 4 years old, like in a toy box.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
hugging
okay.
each other. Yeah.
Bathtub.
Well, it's kind of like from a ways away. It's what it looked like. I don't know, but they're closer.
And the Bleed, Worship, Bleed album that album cover was taken by my buddy Beto when I worked at Rite Aid, and I just put fake blood on my arms. And then I was like promoting that album, and we got banned from Facebook, and we got shadow banned on YouTube for it. So that album is totally inoffensive. If you listen to it, it's like really like smooth and synthy. The cover was like, I don't know, too provocative, I
guess, man. But I'm sure as like we do, there's a lot crazier album covers than some that. But I'm kind of into that shit, so I'm gonna check that one out.
Yeah, it's funny looking at the Bleed Worship Bleed cover, like the extreme change in artwork to the new album.
Oh yeah,
it's like that's funny.
Yeah, well, I actually, you guys like the Talking Heads?
Oh,
yeah.
Of course.
The idea I had for the Floods, Droughts, and Other Ravages album was basically, I wanted it to be like that Little Creatures cover, in that it was like animated, but that it also an animated landscape, but that it was like a lot, but in like a really small sort of dimension. Like you have like a big landscape, but in a really small depiction.
Yeah.
And I told my buddy, Blackwater Art, I think is what he goes by on Instagram. I told him, like, I showed him the album cover, and I was like, the Little Creatures one, and I was like, I want something like this. And of all the things on that album, like, I usually, when it comes to recording albums, I like don't stress about shit. I'm kind of like, oh, okay, well, redo this if it's not working, but that's fine, whatever. That vocal's fine, whatever. But with him and that artwork, I pressed him like the most.
Yeah, you wanted it to be that way.
Yeah, I wanted it to be like kind of amateurish, and very rural, but also like sort of depicting like the city and the backwoods, and sort of and he really captured the vibe. I think of like all our album covers, that one, Sons of the New West, and Too Much Joy. I think those album covers all really look the way that I hope that they would look.
I follow.
Yeah, looking at the Talking Heads cover, I can definitely see the inspiration there now.
Yeah.
I like the latest single picture you put out with the woman with the tarot card.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine on Instagram, and she said we could use it. And I think a lot of the success from that single, which is like your girl, or what was his girl, Death,
Yeah.
I think comes from that photo.
Yeah, that seductive photo got those streams.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, sometimes you need something to draw somebody in.
Yeah.
Because like looking at the newer album cover, it looks like it's just like it looks like a younger kid sketched it, and I don't mean that in like an offensive way. It's
No, I get it.
Yeah, it's just like, I guess the music doesn't match the cover. Like when you listen to it, you get like a whole different idea of the music as far as from the cover goes. It's like when I unwrapped the record, I was like, because I forgot that we're always getting packages at the record store, and I'm like, what's this? I like open it up, and I'm like, what is this? I'm like, I don't remember ordering this. And then I was like, oh yeah, it was like this Happy Casualties band. So we played it at the store and stuff, and then
well, I appreciate you guys like checking it out and interviewing us and everything, because that's like really cool. You know, any like exposure and just getting people to listen to it and being interested in it is really in an organic way. And you guys run a record store. I used to work at a record store, so I know that, like, you know, I know you can get exhausted with just like music all the time. You start gravitating to certain things
I kind of like
that you're used to.
We're all over the place, so like we'll be, you know, I'll be one time like I'm on a synth wave kick, or I'll be on a black metal kick or a singer-songwriter kick, but it definitely
it goes
like
all over the place.
You get burnt out on one thing, and then you got to find something else that reignites that excitement. And especially like working in the store, because there's a lot of people, like I'm sure in most areas I've noticed it's kind of the same. Like people want Pink Floyd, they want Led Zeppelin, they want Fleetwood Mac and the Beatles, and like, you know, they're all great artists, but it just gets exhausting, like hearing the same shit over and over and over and over and over again.
Do you think that's still going on? Because I worked at a record store like 98 to like 2000, and you had like, that was CDs, you know,
right?
And you had like people still going in, getting the Stones, getting Pink Floyd, and like that was when the Dylan bootleg series was starting to pick up steam. And so even like 20 some years ago, we were kind of like tripping out about the fact that people were still coming in clamoring for like this really old music. But that's still going on.
Oh,
definitely,
100%.
I think Dark Side of the Moon is the most wanted albums on Discogs still.
Yeah.
I mean, it might say like, you know,
and I think
12 million people.
Sgt. Pepper's is right underneath it. But yeah, it's honestly, it might be going on more now than it was then. And like, I didn't work or own a store at that time, so I don't know for sure. But with the surge of like vintage things being cool and vinyl in general, like the combination of the two created, you know, we want the Beatles, we want Pink Floyd, we want the Rolling Stones. And then like, you know, you'll be the guy behind the counter like trying to be like, well, if you like this band, check out this band, or if you like this band, check out this band. And they're like, well, you don't have Fleetwood Mac, or you don't have this. And it's hard to get. So like what you said about getting people to check out your album, your new album, or even albums in general, like organically, is a hard job, because a lot of people get caught in their ways, and then they only like shit that they already know. But to me, like, I'm like, well, yeah, that's cool that you like what you know and all, but like, why wouldn't you want to try something new to see if you like that?
Yeah, I mean, when I was at the record store, you did definitely have, because like KCRW is like out here, so you definitely had people that were coming in looking for like the stuff they heard on college radio.
Yeah.
Or they wanted to be recommended something that was different. And it's kind of weird that now people are kind of like, no, I just want the same thing.
Yeah, it's I don't know, probably 70-30, like 30 being the people that are willing to take the chance on something else, or check out something they're not familiar with, or heed the recommendation. But a lot of people are just like, no, I want this one. And even if they're like, you know, I want Pink Floyd, you're like, okay, I don't have Dark Side of the Moon, but I got, you know, Animals and The Wall and, you just wish you
Metal.
were here, etc. Yeah, metal. And they're like, no, I only want Dark
Yeah,
Side.
metal, there you go.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say it gets annoying, but it gets annoying.
It's a lot of instant gratification, It takes guts to go out there and try to look for stuff. It's what
Yeah, but that's what
Animals
that's
would be
what
my
we
favorite.
like. That's a lot of people's favorite, which I mean, rightfully so. It's a great record. Like, I would, if I had to put Animals up against Dark Side of the Moon, I'd pick Animals.
Oh yeah,
I like metal too, though, like Fearless. I like cool guitar tuning. It's good.
So you guys are based in LA then?
yeah.
Okay. Where at in LA? Because LA is pretty large.
We're in like the Venice, Santa Monica area.
Okay.
So we're about 2 miles from the ocean
Okay.
right now. Most of the stuff is like, yeah, it's like west. It's the most west coast part of Los Angeles.
Yeah, like Venice Beach. Like he lives right by Venice Beach.
So what's the temperature right now? How's the
temperature?
weather?
72, sunny.
It rained.
It's like what,
It
50
rained
here,
yesterday.
sunny? 50 here. I mean, it's like, and that's rare.
It's record breaking
It is.
hot here right now,
Yeah.
actually.
In the 50s.
Yeah, where are you guys at?
We're in Michigan.
Michigan.
Oh yeah, I'm from Buffalo. I feel you, bro.
Oh, what's up?
Well,
what's
you
up,
already
dude?
know that.
Yeah, I feel bad for you in the winter.
Yeah.
Well, one of the albums is called Imaginary Buffalo, and there's some experimental music on it, but it got the title because Brian would always talk about Buffalo so much.
And you want to say Buffalo nuts. If you don't live,
It was just like a
Talking
sort of
about
mythological place, so I named the album Imaginary Buffalo, just like sort of like.
Bro, I'd spring break with these guys. You guys are a bunch of snowbirds. I can see you in Florida crying some beer cans in your forehead.
There's a few people from our hometown here, Alpena, that actually moved out to Buffalo right after like high school and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You guys come and visit.
You're not going to be there.
I know, but it's imaginary.
It's imaginary. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they were going imaginary.
You're not going to be there.
I'd rather go to the beach.
Yeah, most people do want to come here, but there is like a whole vibe to living here, because it's like I follow you guys on Instagram, and I have other friends that like are in the Midwest and shit, and so like you see stuff like that's happening weather-wise, and then or you think about just the fact that pipes could freeze and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you come out here and you're like, well, I can't go in the ocean today just because it's December. It's like it's so like pleasant in that weather sort of way that there's this kind of like looming sort of dread because you have like earthquakes and stuff. So like the first track on the album is like Total Ocean Sermon, where I'm like condemning Los Angeles to be totally drowned in a tidal wave, because I hate a lot of the people that live here. That's kind of feeding.
I hear that all the time,
I was
man.
gonna say, I've heard that from a lot of people.
And people from the Midwest especially.
Oh yeah, you guys, your culture is totally different.
No, but the fact that you guys aren't here is what makes you is like laudable. It's just the people that come here and then they like, I don't know, I can't really get into it, but it's the people that come to LA and then like, I don't know, I'm kind of.
Yeah, the transplants definitely have it. See, this is how it is. You move here, you're from somewhere else. 2 years you live here, like, wow, I have a mailing address. And also 6 years goes by. Wish my fucking poetry took off.
Right.
Year. And then it's like the 8th year, and you're like, do I stay or just go home? Because the circus is over.
Well, that seems to be the place everywhere. Everybody goes there to like try to make it, but like that's the issue is everybody's there trying to make it. So there's 1,000,001.
And it's a small group that are making it. So it's like the same people.
Yeah.
You can't burn any bridges. It's very, I don't know.
Even like the music scene is like interesting, because like where we are, we're from Venice, which is the west side, and I don't know how it is exactly now, but I'm sure it's the same as it was like 8 years ago. But like 8 years ago, if you were from this part of town, you were like, it was like embarrassing and you weren't cool.
Oh yeah.
People thought you were like playing in the drum circle at the beach on Sundays and stuff. And the cool bands were on the east side, and they're like in like the skinny jeans, and they had the mustache, and like the
blue collar hipster hat. I'm not a trucker.
No, that was like 15 years ago. I know. But it was like the elitism. Once you get like 8-10 miles east, and then you're in Silver Lake, Echo Park, Eagle Rock, that whole area, it's like really a different scene, or it used to be a different scene, and the bands have that sort of thing. But even though those bands have that sort of like elitist sort of air, they're not really doing great. I don't know. Like there's a band called like Native Tongues, I think, that came out of there. But I can't think of any bands, and that might be totally wrong. I don't even know what I'm saying. But I can't think of any bands except for the Silver Sun Pickups.
Okay. I like when you get the Valley Kid posers would come in. They look like they're from Silver Lake. Like they all dress here. Like,
but I can't think of any bands that really had any big industry sort of like that were making, like when he said the thing about, you know, making money and being in an industry that's generating revenue. I can't think of any of those bands. They were getting a draw and they were considered cool, and they looked cool by those like American Apparel standards, but they weren't making any money. No. They were getting people to their shows, but they weren't really making any money. So yeah, I don't know.
Basically, they're just pretending, kind of.
It was a scene. It was a scene.
Yeah, it's a scene.
There's a lot of egos that go into musicians.
Well, they also would get jealous too, because we're from the West Side and we go to these parties and we pick up all their girlfriends. Well, we take all their girlfriends back. You know, to the West Side. They're like, "This is great. You go to the beach. What are you doing? Smoking cigarettes, drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon underneath the freeway?"
Yeah, dude, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, this one guy was so arrogant to me. I was at a video release party. He's like, blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, that's my car in your video. I donated it. I'm
like, eat it.
You know what I mean? Like, why give me attitude?
Yeah, that's funny.
So the album title of the latest record, is that all inspired by LA weather?
No, well, I was going around. I was working at Home Depot, and I was like wishing that like the whole fucking West Coast would fall into the ocean, kind of like Tool's Anima. Like that was like sort of like my theme song for working there.
We call them Brother Maynard, like they hang out.
That's how I wrote the song. Yeah. Learn to swim. And I would just be, dude, like you'd be at like the Home Depot in the paint department. That is like the Oprah Book Club portion of the Home Depot. And you just have these kind of like yuppie. Like I'll give you an example. This is like really interesting. I was there on like a Saturday night, like a few years back.
Home Depot, right?
Home Depot.
Bleeding Orange, all right.
And you were working?
And yeah. Okay. I worked in the paint department. And like it was busy. It's kind of in like the Marina Del Rey area, so it's like more of a affluent area. And there was like this guy walking around with a dog, and it was like there was all these like yuppie type people. I guess you could call them yuppie or hipster or whatever. Not exactly hipster, but they're yuppie people. And they're walking around, and he's walking around with the dog, and it's going on for like hours that he's there, but he's not like ordering anything or buying anything. Then I realized that after like an hour or so, I was like, this dude is actually just walking around with the dog trying to pick up women.
Fuck yeah.
You know, like, yeah. And he's like,
was his dog cute?
Probably.
Did he have like a chance? I mean.
Oh yeah, and
his dog was like 13 years old.
He looked like your neighbor over here, Jim.
Oh, handsome little devil.
Yeah, he was like a totally vacuous dude, walking around with the dog and just trying to like endear himself. And that was like his strategy. But like, yeah, that's like Home Depot's like that, where you would have these people that were like, you know, like grays are so hard. Like, which gray do you like better? And just geeking out over that. And I was like, how great would it be if the earth just started shaking violently and you all were like swallowed up in it right now? You know, like have the earth start shaking and I'll be like, number 26, come on, like order your paint, let's do it.
Yeah, that,
you know? So I was thinking about that, and I wanted to have like a whole album about Los Angeles falling into the ocean, but I only really worked out that song. And I had that album title just because I thought that album title sounded cool. And then when I decided like, well, let's all start writing songs for the album, we all got together and I was like, well, I'm just going to use that album title And the only song that really references like my desire for Los Angeles to fall into the ocean is the Total Ocean Sermon. But I wanted it to have like an apocalyptic sort of flavor, like an Americana apocalyptic sort of flavor. And the only old song on there is Sleeping in the Street. Like that song is like 15 years old, but all the other songs were kind of new and written for the album. Which
besides the cover, there's a cover on there.
Oh yeah, the Debris by the Faces.
Gotcha.
I didn't know that was the cover.
Yeah, sorry.
The Faces kind of Debris. It's kind of obscure, but it has that really cool Dylan organs that you like. All that stuff.
I like who plays the harmonica solos and stuff on the album.
That's John. That's our buddy John. His songs were Pilot, Fun, and Fillmore Saloon Song. But he plays all the harmonica, and he never actually really recorded anything before. And it was like his harmonica, his guitar playing. He played lead guitar on Debris too, and it was really good. He really nailed it for his first time recording.
Yeah, for his first time recording, I'd say he did a good job. It definitely
I like that song actually quite a bit.
Gave it a blues flair to the album.
Yeah, which we don't usually, we never do rock thing. You don't really do blues a lot because it's kind of cliche, but it kind of worked for. And that song, that Sleeping in the Street, is kind of Dylan-esque. There's some Dylan-esque kind of stuff on that album. So,
well, Rattlesnake
Highway, I think is just kind of like a
balls out, just fun,
thrashy. I don't even know what to say, but it's just like, I don't know. It's aggressive.
The harmonica is sick in it.
That harmonica is really sick on that.
See, I went to the studio and I brought my own harmonica. I'm like, I knew the guy wouldn't have one. He's going, I don't have one. I'm like, I brought my own, buddy. Turned out.
So the harmonica player didn't have his own harmonica, but you did.
No. No. He had harmonicas. That harmonica, and he only used it on that song. Yeah. And I got that really like.
We ran it through a vintage amp and the whole deal.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
That song, you know what? It sounds like a Drive-By Truckers album cover looks like.
Yeah.
Like the first 4 or 5 albums that they did. That's what it sounds like to me. It's just like kind of like a ragged sort of desert or like southern sort of like highway with like all sorts of like chaos.
Yeah, it reminded me, like you said, Drive-By Truckers, or like a little bit of Left Lane Cruiser, like that sort of thing.
Who's Left Lane Cruiser? I never heard of them.
They're like a stoner blues rock kind of band.
Yeah.
And they're like two, I don't know if they're brothers or cousins or whatever they are, or maybe they're just friends, and I'm assuming they're brothers. But they had a few albums where they like made their own instruments and shit, and I don't know, they just jammed. They were really cool, and check them out. If you like Drive-By Truckers, you'd like Left Lane Cruiser.
Cool, I'll check that out. Yeah.
So you guys did was the recording for this inside of a studio, or did you do it in home, or?
No, it was in a recording studio. The drums were tracked at a drummer-owned studio, which was like a 100-year-old furniture factory. Basically, a big, long rectangle, really old wood, amazing stuff in there.
It's called the Compound Studio
in Single Hill, which is Long Beach for you guys.
Okay.
It's Sublime actually recorded.
He's done like Rocket from the Crib there, a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, that was a really, really cool.
So it's like super really cool. Unique fucking room and whatnot.
Yeah, like really, really old, really old piano. Like if you listen to Fillmore Saloon Song, dude, you couldn't even. We have some like video of it. We're gonna try to post on Instagram, but like that piano that I played on Fillmore Saloon Song, like a lot of that stuff was really live. Like John was playing acoustic guitar, I was playing this like 80-year-old piano, and Ryan's playing drums, all kind of at the same time because the room was like really big.
Man, that's cool.
Well, John was kind of in a separate room.
Yeah, sometimes we even had the windows open for the louder songs.
And then you just tracked them like that?
Some of them, yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Together.
It looked like some place like the band would have been recording, for those first few albums that the band did. It had that vibe.
That's cool. Big peak house.
That's really cool.
Like the Last Waltz type of shit.
What's that second album that has like the Great Divide on it and stuff? Like it has.
He's talking about the Pink House. Is that what he's talking?
Yeah, well, that music from the Big Pink.
Basically,
that's the first one.
There was a house.
Yeah,
there's definitely a house on the compound, so you felt like you're in your own world. Really
but it was like it had like that place is so cool to visit because it's just like super old like guitars and dobros and banjos
and drum set too because he's
hanging on the walls, and it's all wood. Like
that's
Ryan
just
said.
so crazy how wood ages like that and can totally affect. The sound.
They don't make wood like that anymore. For building,
it's fast. It is very fascinating, honestly. Like how it's kind of unpredictable how it would do it.
It's all professionally tuned, like the mixing room.
Yeah.
He based it off like the same guy who did like Capitol Records. Like he has these old schematics that was from the '50s, late '50s, of exactly how he wanted to tune it. So this professional came and like tuned the room. It's crazy.
Nice. And they still have that original, like, would it be like an original blueprint of how they wanted it?
Exactly.
Shit. That's awesome that they still have it.
Yeah, because if you go in there, so there's like the control booth, and then the room where you can do the tracking.
Yeah, the live room.
There is the live room. Yeah, they have not moved or changed anything because it's so big, but there's like furniture and stuff.
Damn,
and
if you guys have any pictures,
like
you gotta shoot them over. I would just want to take a look at that place.
Well, I'll have to send you the compound on Instagram. Antoine, he's the guy that runs it, and he's like an old school. Well, he did punk rock, but he can play lots of stuff. And yeah, he has like all sorts of photos of the compound there, and we'll shoot it to you guys. But yeah, but it is like super cool, and it's like you get the vibe when you're there that it hasn't changed since like the '60s.
Right on. Yeah, that shit's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was trying to Google it, but
what do you guys do
as
far as touring? How does that work for you?
We haven't toured.
You haven't ever?
No.
We're actually looking for a bass player. The band is really just me and Ryan, and the last few shows we've played have just been me on guitar and Ryan on drums. And then we the guy that's produced the last few albums, his name's Matt Lynch. He's played bass on.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we'll bring up other singers, or we'll have John sit in a harmonica, but we need to get a bass player.
We need to get a bass player. And it would be like, we're hoping to maybe get on the road, but like, it's like, we're both like, we work and the money goes to like, living or towards like paying for recording and shit.
Oh, most definitely, man. We both have children and bills and all that happy shit, and totally get it. But I just think it's awesome that you can still put music out, man.
Plus, living on the West Coast ain't cheap.
Fucking A, dude. Props to y'all.
Yeah, you guys is fucking like rent is like my monthly expenses probably.
We're hoping to go on tour, like in relation to what we're talking about. And
it's
just that
you need a bass player.
We got to get some sort of traction, something financially to kind of like get out there on the road, like sell some records. Like at our record release show, I think I sold one record. So like the demand isn't huge.
Yeah, that'll happen though. I mean, it's hard to, as a new band, and well, you guys aren't really that new, but as just a band who's not in the mainstream.
Think about it. 20 years ago, when we were playing, you could play, if you're a two-piece, where you play gigs, hopefully get $400 or $100 an hour, and some tips, sell some merch, and then you can jump to the next town.
Right.
Well, now it's 20, whatever year it is now. It's like,
and the gas prices.
Well, I'm saying you just can't do it. Also, you got to think too is like the internet and like social media. It's actually kind of closed down a lot of moms and pops music clubs, because if because when kids form their bands, they're like, dude, we're bigger than Korn. We're going to bring 3,000 people to your venue, and they bring 2. That killed a lot of moms and pops businesses. People don't even realize that. And then, like you said, the whole instant gratification with, I'd rather just buy the old school albums and not even take a chance.
Yeah.
But that's why
what a weird climate. Yeah. What a weird. It's like everything's just like, it's like it's turning into karaoke out there. I don't know.
I just, with the, discovering new music for us, and I would assume anybody, in music, like with you guys, you want to find, you're chasing that, like, that high almost with the, you know, discovering a new band, or that feeling of like, holy shit, you know, and it's like back to that instant gratification, and like people just they're not patient enough for it to like go out.
But even tying that with touring, it would be amazing. Well, as musicians, if you could find your sister band, like someone's like who wants to do it too, they're really good,
right?
You can learn off each other, and then it's really just trying to ride the coattails and maybe get, you know, all of a sudden a hairdryer company wants to sponsor you, maybe you do a few more shows, you know, or something stupid, you know. It's anything to be creative.
For sure.
Did that happen? Did you have a hairdryer company trying to?
No, but I definitely I probably could be sponsored by ADD medication, but
I was gonna say to like fucking.
Yeah, if hairdryers call us up, dude,
I'll take the sponsorship.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't even
totally.
We both of us barely have hair to dry, so I'll be like, "Fuck you, we live in Michigan."
It's good for you in the winter.
I just want to make one point when you mentioned that hair comment. I don't have a lot of hair on my head because of choice.
Well,
I am not balding.
Same
thing with him. Y'all laughing like we're balding.
Yeah,
I'm proud of my fucking.
We're I don't know your age. We're like older.
Oh, I'm gray as fuck, but I have my hair.
Yeah.
I don't have the Costanza going on.
No,
I don't think it's in my family.
Mine's receding a bit, but it's not super bad where I have to do anything yet. I hope that it's kind of stopped. You know?
Yeah, I'll pray for you.
Thanks.
And anyway, sorry.
So going back to the record in general, is this the first actual physical piece of media that you guys have pressed up as far as vinyl goes, or are your other albums out?
Yeah, this is the first record, and I wanted to I thought it was like good enough that I was like, yeah, I'm going to invest the money to print up like 200 copies of this on vinyl, because vinyl draws the people that are going to be more serious about it. Like you guys were saying, like when you get into something new, like if you're really into like music, then like finding out about new bands and stuff and getting into that is like really cool. You know, I'm definitely like that. And having a record is something that actually gets people's attention and they want to listen to it. And it's like a good calling card. And I thought that this album, because it's eclectic and I think a lot of the material is good and it works together as a whole, that was a good reason to.
Plus it's a double record, which is.
Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense.
We're from the days of fanzines.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, the grassroots. That's what you guys are talking about. It's your story, your grassroots. You got to go in there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are affiliated with local people that have venues or underground places that have music or a community board. It's like it's all networking within your community to make something.
Yeah,
almost
absolutely.
Definitely.
And even that goes to social media, like networking too.
Oh, of course.
Like, you meet people from all over the place that are like, "Oh, I love your show,"
amazing.
Or "I love your music," or like without social media, like we would have never found you, or you would have never found us. And
like one of Steve's best stories of him playing one time, one of his favorite singer-songwriters is in the Facebook days. I don't know how we affiliated, but he found Steve, and we got to open up for, was it Mark Etzel from American Music Club?
Well, it was the Spaceland. It was around Christmas time, and they needed someone to open for American Music Club, and like people were out of town.
Yeah.
And so we were like the only band, I think it was on MySpace, that listed American Music Club as an influence. So we got to open for them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was really
and that is like one of my favorite bands. Like Mark Eitzel, I think, is a really amazing singer-songwriter.
That's actually somebody I'm not even familiar with.
Yeah,
so
I'm not either.
That's going to be added to my list to check out.
Yeah, check out American Music Club. They definitely like 90s alternative rock, but not in that heavy sort of way.
Yeah, not like Archers of Love or like Seaweed or all that weird.
More, I think.
Archers of Love?
A little bit more in the Elliott Smith vibe.
Oh, okay.
But definitely more of a band sort of angle.
Right on. I'm adding it to my Apple Music right now, actually, just so I don't forget.
Yeah.
I'm scatterbrained, so if I like, we'll talk about that, and then by the time I get home, I'll be like, American music, what? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't remember. I got too much shit going on. So, question, like, how did you guys find the podcast? Did you find an episode that you listened to, or was it just like kind of through an Instagram thing?
It was so weird because what happened was, that guy Rigby from the Crutches had messaged me like a few months back, and he was like, "Hey, like glad to add you guys and all this stuff," and I was like, "Okay, cool," like I got this message on Instagram. And then I started talking to him, and he's just like he's like a cartoon character on the thing. Like I don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, neither do we.
And then I was like, "Am I talking to like an AI?" but he posted a thing of the interview with you guys, and I was like, "Oh, these guys seem cool." So I hit you up. I hit up your podcast, and I hit up Jeremy. I was like, "Hey, can we send you guys a record?" And you guys were like totally cool, and we're like, "Hey, you want to set up an interview?" And I was like, "Fuck, this is awesome." But yeah, I got it basically just because I saw you guys interviewed him. And I was like, and I listened to it, and I heard his voice. I'm like, okay, so this is a real person, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so he's I don't know if I'm giving something away, but he probably ain't going to listen to this anyways. But he's a real person, but they don't acknowledge that they're animated. Like, that's their thing, their gimmick for the band is they're animated, but they're supposed to be, those are the characters that they actually are.
Yeah. Okay. I offered to send him a record, and he was like, "Well, I'm just in the animated world." So, and I was like, "Okay." I mean, totally cool, but it's totally weird, when you're like talking to somebody and you're like,
so you go like talking through like Saturday morning cartoons or something.
Basically,
you're like, "I'm animated
with a bowl of Lucky Charms."
Yeah, I am a cereal bowl.
Yeah, he was a really cool guy, and like he was another one that just kind of randomly found us out of nowhere. Like, and I like when that happens because it's hard to get your shit out there on social media. Like, there's 1,000,001 things being posted every day between just normal posts in general, music posts, podcast posts, videos, reels, etc. And like it gets drowned in everything. So like when people find us, I like we always make it a point to reach out back to the people, like just to like, one, thanks for finding us, and two, like that's how the Rigby thing happened, and he ended up being pretty cool. But yeah, they are an animated band, which I don't know, and we still didn't really know like how touring worked for them. Like, do they do it like Death Clock and they just like play an image on the screen or whatever, and they're behind the curtain? I don't know how it works.
Oh yeah, like the gorillas.
I think I asked him. I said, "You guys are kind of doing like a gorilla sort of thing," and he didn't like respond to that particular message.
Yeah,
not that he didn't like it.
Probably
he just
didn't like it.
Chose big post.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Yeah, whatever.
But I listened to some of your guys' other podcasts, mainly the ones actually where you guys were just talking, not so much interviews, but like talking about the store and different albums that you were like interested or looking forward to and stuff. And that was like cool because I go running that and listen to some podcasts. I checked out a few more of those, so I dug it, and I was like really stoked that you guys are going to have us on the show.
Cool, man.
Right on. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to listen.
Yeah.
Your record, like for being your first record that you had pressed up, like it turned out really nice. The jacket was really great. I like how smooth the material of the jacket feels. I don't know the name of what that is, but when you like rub your thumbs on it, it feels like a very smooth material. Not like a glossy cover, but it's like a matte finish type of thing.
It's matte, yeah.
Yeah.
Matte finish, yeah.
But the records themselves were, I mean, they were clean cut.
Quality is quality. Yeah, like, top quality.
They had a good weight to them. And because a lot of people, like when they get their first album pressed up, like it'll be like a real cheap, like whatever they can get done at the time. And sometimes it works out great, and sometimes you're kind of like, well, I wish I could have done this or that, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But I was impressed with you guys' album.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, even the lettering, like the type, you can read everything. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's
It was all
like the
spelled
song
right.
titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, spelled.
Yeah.
I mean, like it
It's
goes a long
impressive.
way. We've all had. Yeah. Thanks.
Did you get it done at like a local pressing plant, or did you have to sublet that somewhere?
It is a Japanese label called Mokimbo, I think, something like that. They do short runs,
Okay.
and so I'd have to look it up and then I could tell you.
So have you guys been writing any more material lately?
We actually,
Yes.
we actually
We're in the studio last night, actually.
Oh, right on.
We're actually recording like a lot of stuff.
So last time we were working on a mixtape, which is like I actually rapped on the song,
Awesome.
believe it. And then I tuned down my voice to sound like Barry White meets like Witness production program kind of. And then so these kids, I had drum like a loop, right? And then I put on the headphones, and I was in that badass studio for the drums. Last night was a different one for vocals, but I would put live drums of these hip hop loops and kind of edit it in, then add, little synthesizers, me rapping, some other weird.
It was basically I was supposed to do I wanted to do like a drunken, goofy mixtape with some of my friends from Home Depot, but when it got close to actually recording it, we made like the beats and stuff, and then they all sort of like backed out. They just didn't show up. So Ryan and I sort of had to
step it up.
We had to step it up, and we, instead of doing like 6 or 7 tracks, we ended up getting about 4 tracks. 2 of them I like rap on. One of the songs is called "This Is Incelcore," and the other song is called "Reverse Suicide Hotline."
Would you do like 32 bars? 32 bars, 64 bars, or are you more like a 8 or 16 kind of rapper?
What do you mean?
Wow, he's talking about how much bars is spitting, bro. It's a lot of words.
That was the hardest writing the lyrics for those songs. Mm-hmm. Like the Reverse Suicide Hotline song. You know that rapper Cemetery. I assume you guys know him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's my diss track to him.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just because I kind of didn't like his like vibe, and I thought it would be like funny to write like this diss track to him. I don't really know what the repercussions of it would be. And then This Is Incelcore. This Is Incelcore was just kind of like, I don't know. They were just like my attempts to sort of like write like hip hop, and we did it. And then we were recording all this stuff at the same time. So we did those 4 songs. We did basically a G.G. Allen EP of songs. And then we recorded the tracks for our next album, which is going to be a double album. So we're recording all this stuff since that last album concluded.
You did a G.G. Allen EP. Tribute EP?
Yeah.
Oh,
we did Sluts in the City, Don't Talk to Me, Die When You Die, with altered lyrics.
I want to hear that shit, dude, right now.
Oh, dude, I want to get it like released on like vinyl.
Hell yeah,
we did Sluts in the City.
What's the little video that we have out on YouTube? Do they seen that one?
Which one? Oh, I haven't shown that.
Shoot Knife.
Yeah, because on
well, they can look at it right now.
Joyous Songs of Happiness.
No, if you go to YouTube, they can see the video.
No, I know, but they're talking to us.
Oh,
yeah,
it's not worse.
Sorry, guys. But we did a G.G. Allen song on the Joyous Songs. We did Shoot, Knife, Strangle, Beat, and Crucify. But we recorded like 5 or 6 of his songs, and we're going to release it on an EP. And it's like really like heavy and aggro, and it's like, I don't know. I like G.G. Allen a lot. I like his whole like mentality of like just do what you have to do and then fucking die. That's like really the thing about him that appeals to me most. So we did this song. It's just going to be called the Sleaziest, Happiest Casualties.
Yeah.
And 6 songs.
Awesome.
G.G. Allen.
Yeah, I'm very
cool
curious and
twist.
I'm definitely looking forward to hearing that now.
Yeah, we'll get it to you guys.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
It's ready to go.
It's heavy.
So I did notice that all of your records except the first 2 are released on Conformist Music. Is that your own personal label, or is that an actual label?
That's just my music publishing.
Okay.
I had to do a music publishing thing back in 2005 or six for a song that was getting licensed to like a Showtime show.
Mm-hmm.
And that was with my buddy Ethan. And so a song got licensed I don't think I saw any money for it, but I had to pick a music publishing company. So I picked Conformist Music because I like, I can't remember the author's name, but I read a bunch of his novels back then. And one of his books was called The Conformist. It got made into a movie, like a foreign film, but I like that and I use that. So that's just my publishing company, I guess. I think it's BMI.
Yeah, it is BMI.
Oh,
no.
Oh, right on.
What was the Showtime show?
Something red carpet, red carpet something.
Okay.
And I had a song called Confessions of an Ad Man, and they used the music a little bit on some tracking sequence or something.
Oh, right on. So, that's cool.
Shit,
I mean, it sucks you didn't get paid for it, but at least it's out there.
Yeah, it's like, yo, that's me.
Yeah.
Were you guys involved in any projects before the Happy Casualties?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a drummer, so I'm always
bouncing around.
Playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I came out here with my hardcore band, Buffalo. I was doing all that. And then that broke apart. Then I was like, with like a British singer-songwriter and that whole kind of scene out here. And that's when I met Steve.
Okay. What was the hardcore band out of Buffalo?
Well, we were called Torn Within. Then we changed it like Outcome. I went to high school with like Scott Vogel from Terror, Snapcase and all those. So I grew up with that whole scene.
Oh shit!
But like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, that'd be like
I've seen like
that's like
Shelter.
up my alley and like for sure.
Oh, dude, I've seen like Shelter get beat up. You know, they're doing their hair care stuff shit. I've seen Integrity when they're just handing back like pieces of the venue they're playing, like ceiling tiles and fucking. I used to love all that stuff, dude.
We just interviewed Dwid from Integrity like a week or two ago.
Dude, even his what does he call his little stuff? Psy-War? What is it called?
Psy-Warfare, and then he has Vermipere.
Yeah, that shit was out. But dude, Who Fear Tomorrow, whatever that album, like Misha, when I listen to that song, I still get the hair still stands up on me and I want to kill somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, check out our interview with him. He's a really cool guy. Like, he's told it to
No, he's not. We used to call him the Human Furnace, right? Isn't that what they used to call him or something?
Yeah.
His voice.
Yeah, he had like all these crazy creative stories and shit about just like him as a kid and like him doing. We kind of focused more on Vermipere and Psy-Warfare than Integrity because Integrity's been covered a bunch.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a really cool, interesting, creative guy.
Yeah, Cleveland, man. My friends used to own Discovery Records in Buffalo, and they used to always bands used to come up and play.
Right on, that's cool.
Yeah, good old days.
Oh man,
it sounded like.
I was gonna say like I just saw Terror, but I didn't because something happened and I missed him. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, Scott's a cool dude with the Scottisms. He's the exact same kid, you know what I mean? Like, I knew that he was going to go far with that.
So you went to high school with Scott Vogel, you said, right?
Oh, yeah. My friend was in the band Slugfest.
Oh, man, dude.
Shit.
Dude, fucking Jess right now is wearing a Terror hoodie
when hardcore
with the
got ruined by like
logo
bands like, yeah, like Earth Crisis, what ruined hardcore. Dude, you can't write a song that goes, kill drug dealers. Like, dude, really? Like, it's I get it. You don't eat the meat, but you still like to bone, but take it easy on the notch, you know? That's my opinion on hardcore.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's cool to get a little more background on you, though. So how did you...
Yeah, the hardcore scene with all those fanzines, the whole thing. I mean, it was so amazing. I saw amazing bands like Iceburn, like all those weird guys, or like even like King's X. I thought it was weird when I was younger. Like, what?
Well...
What about you, Steven? What, have you been in other bands?
I was in a band with my buddy Mike Katz, and we were called Communism. And when I was I was in a ska band when I was like out of high school, and that was probably the most successful I ever was. And I was in a ska band called Water Slide. And
we're talking third wave, like Real Big Fish and all that.
Yeah,
that 09 stuff was coming out, like that Warped Tour stuff.
Yeah, we used to play with we played with the Aquabats, we played with Less Than Jake. Yeah. We opened for Goldfinger once.
And look at him, yeah.
And
John Feldman, he's one of the hugest guys in the industry.
and then I played, and then I had this band with my buddy Mike called Communism. That was like in my late teens, early 20s. And then, yeah, I did an EP called The Paper Tigers. And I was like 23,
I like that one
23, 24. And then I just started working on stuff. I don't know. I heard one time I was drunk and I was watching a Bill Hicks comedy thing. And he was talking about dead rock stars, and he said there have been casualties. And I thought he said they're happy casualties. And so I was like, oh, I was just going to use that for the name of my project. And
I also thought when you guys were talking about the marijuana burn on the record, I'm like, the happy casualties. Wait, THC. It's making sense now.
Oh, shit. I didn't even put that one together.
Man, I'm wild like that.
That's kind of why I really like having the happy casualty, so you get the THC.
I follow.
Although I don't like weed.
He loves it.
I don't.
No, I mean, we're older now. You got any?
We're mature.
Just too early. Don't ever touch mine. Do you fucking have any?
Yeah, I wouldn't have put the THC thing together, I guess. But
neither would I.
That was gonna be a follow-up question I had: is how did the name Happy Casualties come about? Because it is like one of those. It's a positive negative type of thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Double entendre.
The Grateful Dead.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Double entendre.
Yeah. We're full of those.
So
definitely his lyrics.
You guys said that you listened to some of the other episodes, and one question that we always ask people on our episodes, usually towards the end of things, is what is something that you listen to that people would not expect you to listen to?
I'm gonna already speak for Ryan and say I fucking didn't think he went to high school with Scott Vogel and was in a hardcore band and shit by listening to this album. You know what I'm saying?
Well, my other friend was in Hole. Like my friend's sister was in Hole too during that time too.
Well, no, but dude,
small world.
Listen to that Joyous Songs of Happiness and Friendship. That, and you'll get a vibe of like what Ryan's talking about, that, and he's singing on that album too. It's definitely, I mean, I can't be as hardcore as like the guys you guys are talking about, but it's like my attempt at that, and you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah,
totally. The East Coast had a different vibe with the aggressive music than you guys in the West Coast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
actually, it's funny because my cousin Brian has like the real. Brian is from Ventura.
Yeah, he has that.
And so I think there's a song like "D is for Dirtbag" on that album, and you hear Ryan singing, and Ryan has this really weird East Coast kind of thing, and Brian's thing is really like West Coast thing, and I was sort of like, my parents left me in the car with James Taylor playing while they went into the Kmart.
Yeah.
Fucking sweet baby James.
Oh my god. Exactly.
I guess the thing people wouldn't expect me to listen to is like jazz. I like all sorts of jazz, and I like smooth jazz too.
Well, if you listen to Imaginary Buffalo, he does a beautiful, like, kind of like Fugazi guitar thing.
Right.
Just him and guitar.
Yeah, we're both big jazz.
What song is that where you do the weird?
That's cool. Once you get past like this, when you're younger and you get into Miles Davis and Coltrane and things like that, and you're kind of like, okay, whatever. But then once you get older and you get into more esoteric, not exactly esoteric, but the stuff that's more for like Ramsey Lewis. Like Ramsey Lewis is like in my top 5. That guy is awesome.
Like once you start spreading out from the core musicians.
Yeah.
What I like about jazz is you can take, like, especially with like blue note jazz, you can take and say you have like a Art Blakey record, and then you got like Freddie Hubbard on there, Lee Morgan, like there'll be like Joe Henderson, it'll keep going. You can pick those musicians.
Oh, the cross-pollination.
Yeah.
And then you can go find their albums, and then they'll have other musicians on there, and then you just keep finding other artists like through association of these artists. And a lot of that stuff.
I love Freddie Hubbard.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he's great.
And Lee Morgan. Art Blakey's like probably one of my favorite jazz musicians of all time.
If Lee Morgan's on something, I pretty much am like sold on it,
Yeah, Yeah, he didn't really do any bad albums. I mean, he didn't really have a chance to.
Right,
He fucking died really young.
Isn't that something, you know? It's always like that.
I don't think I've really listened to Lee Morgan.
Oh, man, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, Lee
Do you guys
Morgan.
ever listen to like old? It's called FIP. It's a French international podcast. It's like one of the oldest. I find like crazy world music and weird jazz on that all the time.
I don't think so.
No, I have not.
Just look up FIP, and it's like an app. It's free. You can pull up. You can find some trippy ass music around the world.
Say, what is it again?
FIP. I think it stands for like French International Podcast or something. It's FIP.
I gotcha. Thank you.
It's a really cool app for music. You can find really obscure music around the world.
Learning something new. I mean, that's why we love doing this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you're trying to get promoted, man, and I'm trying to feed my brain, so it works out nicely.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
So jazz for you, and then Ryan, what about you? Like, you come from a hardcore background, it kind of sounds
Yeah,
like.
so my sisters used to all tour with the Dead.
Oh.
So I was either playing like really hardcore music because that was just, you know, that stuff's kind of force fed to me. I got it, but I didn't quite get it. So then I was always in jam bands, but the jam bands, what they would do is, that was obnoxiously loud. They wouldn't let me use drumsticks, and they would take brushes and take electric tape and tape the end of the brushes. So I couldn't even do like a bounce roll. It was a single stroke. So I kept putting weirder percussion on my drums. You know, like little bebop kicks tuned up really high with like duty tuned rototoms and djembes. So I got really into that experimental. So my genre is either like hardcore or like jam band.
Right on.
I don't even listen to jam band. I don't like it. I just like
You just
perform.
jam, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like that whole aspect of it. Yeah, that's. So I was a marching band drummer. My sister was like a Miss Majorette, so I've toured America since I was like 10 years old.
Oh, right on. That's fucking
so I got into music. Yeah, it's fun.
I could never get into the Grateful Dead as many times as I tried.
You know, as you get older, maybe you will. Like, my advice to you, if you are curious about it, you listen to the Jerry Garcia band, and he's the one to kind of open up for more gospel music and all those kind of, you know, Americana music. But you can find some good shows. You might find something you like.
Yeah.
You know? But I know I get it. It's a little noodly. You're like, I got a side of spaghetti with that, but, you know.
I was going to, at one point, I was going to get a dead head tattooed on me with its stuffing coming out and its head cut off, so I don't know if I'm going to get into it.
Oh, the little bear thing?
Yeah, dude.
That's hilarious.
I was like that about it, where I was like, dude, I can't stand this shit, you know?
I will say,
I wouldn't do it
funny.
now, though, because, I mean, that's stupid, but...
They do have really cool artwork, though.
I know.
I will give them
Artwork's
that.
cool. The lyrics, I obviously work with some guy with some good lyrics in there. It's like this, man. This is how I look at it, man. I didn't love it either. But you listen to the lyrics, it's like, so I love War Ensemble, Slayer, you know. I like your blood splattered brain all over the, you know, the bathroom walls too, just like anyone else. But
Right.
when I was listening to the lyrics of the Dead, it kind of incited me during my youth to have a little different outlook on stuff.
Gotcha.
I can see that. I can level with
But musically, not so much, but lyrically more.
that. Right.
Oh, I'm totally willing to admit that the another part of the reason that I never got into the Dead or Fish or any of that is because
the fans.
Well, Fish, not so much. They're corny.
the fans, straight up, yeah, the fans, you know, like
Yeah.
totally opposite our lifestyle, as you know, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
No, I get that. But
But
they're
no,
all
for
lost
sure,
in life.
man.
It made me not judge. Like, dude, if I threw you and me and you went to go to the Juggalo concert, we'd still
Fucking
appreciate
Juggalos.
people.
We were just
You
talking
know?
about juggalos on our
Well,
last.
before, I mean, who does that? I mean,
I'm curious. What is your take on Juggalos? Like, because I mean, they're from Insane Clown Posse. He's from Michigan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So
like, I like give me your like unfiltered, like lay it on me because I don't know anything about them.
okay.
I really don't care.
oh, I met Juggalos.
No, I'm talking about the Insane Clown Posse, and then I guess the Juggalo phenomenon.
I'm going to say it's just going to be the same thing as the Dead. I think it's the fans that drive me nuts. But go ahead.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to go with you on that one.
You're fucking spot on there, because
Yeah,
I like.
because their fans are like, what do you do? I hunt squirrel,
Yeah.
but red ones because they're worth more. And you're like, okay, buddy.
yeah, but he's serious.
No, yeah, it is. That's
Oh,
what
totally.
makes it funny.
No,
But
I know, right?
So I don't listen to ICP. I did when I was younger.
What about like Twisted and all that? Remember those?
No. Let him finish.
Okay.
I wanna hear this.
See, I've met those dudes actually. Like, I've never met ICP, but I've met Twisted. I've met like some of the affiliates at like Comic Cons and stuff like that. Yeah, and I will say, from a business standpoint, like, one, kudos to them for making a 30-year plus career out of dressing up like clowns and spraying pop all over people, because nobody in a million years thought that would work. So I got to give that up to them.
That's right.
Yeah, so I got to give that up to them first and foremost. They do have a highly successful independent label.
And a wrestling business. From what I hear, they are great people who like highly donate to charity and take care of their community and blah blah blah. So like,
that's cool.
From all of that stuff, like, I have some level of, I guess, respect for them. But with that being said, I don't care for their music. Like, I did listen to it when I was younger because it's goofy and it's funny and shit, but like, now that I'm in my 30s, like, I don't want to listen to Chicken Hunting or like shit like that. Like, it just doesn't hold.
Yeah.
So it didn't age well for me, I guess. But some of those people never got out of that. Like, with that Comic-Con I was referencing, like, there was 40, 50-year-old guys, girls, etc. that, I mean, that's their whole life. Like, they got Hatchet Man's tattooed on them all over the place. Like, and, they all got their faces painted. They're all religiously drinking Faygo, and I don't know, like, weird fan base, but that's their thing. That's cool. That's good for them, and I will give it up to them for being successful in something that nobody ever thought could be successful.
Exactly. They're the underdogs, and they did it.
Yeah,
it's like,
absolutely. But yeah, they do have an obnoxious fan base. I will say that. It's funny that you asked. It's funny that you asked that, because we were like, the last interview we did like a week ago. Well, I guess it would have been a couple weeks ago now, but we were just talking about Juggalos and the fans in that interview, actually, which we don't really talk about. So it was kind of ironic that it got brought up twice.
My opinion on ICP is, and I'm like, how old are you? You were 32, I'm 38. So when I was in 7th grade, I was 12, when I was exposed to ICP. And when I say exposed to, I mean a friend was like, check out this fucking ICP. And I remember it being a black cover, gold fucking clown. I listened to it.
Not to sound like a super fan, but that's the Riddle Box, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, see, I don't even fucking know any names of the songs. That's how much I fucking despise that. Not despise it, but at the time I was like, dude, this shit's not doing anything. Like, at 12 years old, 13 years old, I'm like, it's too fucking retarded for me. So, but that being said, everything else that Ryan said about the business and them being good people, fucking amen. But the music, fucking sucks. Their people,
I believe
fucking
a lot of
love
artists,
them, dude.
if you don't even like their music, just like you said or whatever, I think the whole concept really is, if you break on through whatever, you're making this money. I think the ones that stick around are the ones that do try to elevate the ones around them.
Right.
Definitely.
In a way. Do you know what I mean? And that's why, like, I get that vibe from like Post Malone or like whatever these other artists out there. Like,
Post Malone, really?
Yeah. Like, I have friends who have some experience working with them, and they said this kind of guy is this kind of tries to, the people around him, or tries to help elevate them. So
I can see that with like Action Bronson.
Yeah. But I like that concept, you know? It's like,
oh, that's good, yeah.
But
I had some friends, like, when I was like 19 or whatever, they worked at a record store I used to hang out at, and they were like, you like Marilyn Manson, you'll like this Insane Clown Posse stuff. And they had this, like, listen to it.
It's way different.
But you would like Rammstein, I would imagine.
No, I really did not.
But
I like KMFDM.
I love KMFDM. But I like Thrill Kill Cult, all that shit.
Oh, Thrill Kill Cult I've seen like twice.
Yeah.
I don't care for Rammstein either.
No, it's too goofy.
Well, my friends actually go because they're pyro guys, and they love their pyro techniques. Just go to see that. They think it's awesome.
Yeah, they have like legendary concerts, I will say that.
Yeah, they're like, dude, we just go because it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Or like Fish. I have friends that don't like Fish. They'll go for because they think they'll eat mushrooms, like their lighting's the best.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Oh, I could not do a Fish concert.
No, neither could I.
No way.
I don't understand. I mean, like, I'm from the suburbs too, and I'm ashamed.
But all right, I gotta start wrapping things up here because I gotta go pick up my kid. So,
Right on.
anything
I
that
want
you
to say
guys?
really quick.
Yeah, I was gonna
The
say
name of
anything you
that. The
guys want
name
to
of the
say.
record. The name of the record press is Mobanico.
Oh, right, you were looking that up.
I looked it up. So yeah, in Mobanico, it was really hard for me to find.
And that's from Japan, right?
Yeah, Mobineko.
Okay.
Got it.
It's harder. It's kind of hard to find a pressing plant that'll do small runs like
Fuck
that.
yeah. Especially nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was about. We got it in I think about 8-9 months.
Right,
200 records, and it looks like how you guys see it, you know. So it's cool.
Yeah, no, it turned out really nice. Like you guys definitely got what you. I don't know what you paid for it, but you got what you paid for. Like it was a nice package. It turned out good.
I'd use them again.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, repeat the business moving forward. But before we get off of here, anything that you guys want to say, like social media tags, anything like that, I'll have it all in the episode description.
I mean, tags. I mean, really, just having a conversation with you guys, and it's always about paying it forward. Where can you find more music? Where can we go? You know, all that good stuff. Sharing, caring, and I don't know. You guys did a good job.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
man.
it was really fun. I really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it, and I'll have all your links to your stuff in our episode description once this releases. And then
Awesome. And we'll share it. We'll really promote it.
Yeah, we'll send you that link to that studio. You guys would get a
Yeah, right on.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like I said, we'll be in touch.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome talking to you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah,
we appreciate it. And it was good to get to know you and know more about your background and the music and stuff. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. But like I said, we'll be in touch. And thanks again.
Awesome.
Thank you. Take care.
You guys have a good night.
Oh, yes. You too.